In this video, we're going to look at how to use the law of cosines. At the top of the screen, you will see the formula for the law of cosines, which kind of looks like Pythagorean theorem, except for this extra piece here, the minus 2ab cosine c. We only use the law of cosines when we don't have an angle-side pair. So when I look at this picture, I have two sides and I have an angle, but I don't have this angle's partner side here. So I wouldn't be able to use the law of sines. So I'm going to use the law of cosines. The key piece is the angle you know is going to be C. The capital C because it's an angle. So lowercase c is what I'm looking for. Even though the angle is labeled angle A, we always do the angle we know is angle C. So you can ignore the labels on the picture. Okay, so I'm going to first start by plugging in. So I don't know c, so c squared equals a squared. I can pick either one of these to be a. So 5 squared plus another 5 squared because the other side is also 5 minus 2 times 5 times 5 times the cosine of 70. Please make sure your calculator is in degree mode. And then I'm simply going to type this whole math sentence right here into my calculator. And as I said, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Okay, so quickly type that in. It's going to be 5 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 5 times 5 times the cosine of 70, which gives me 32. I'm going to go ahead and round it, 32.9. So c squared equals 32.9. And I am looking just for c, so I'm going to square root both sides, which makes c equal to 5.7. Okay, let's move on to another example of law of cosines. In this case, I have no angles. Okay, so I want to say that I want to find angle A. So that is going to be C in the formula. It's going to be angle C in the formula. So that's going to make this one here lowercase c. Okay, again, it's all based on what they want you to find, so you can ignore the labels that are already in the picture. You're going to want to relabel it. Otherwise, you'd have to memorize all the different forms of the formula, which are, for example, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. It's much easier to just use one formula and just swap out for the piece that we need. So I'm going to do c squared, so 5 squared equals each of the sides squared, so 9 squared, and again the order doesn't matter for your a and your b, 12 squared. I typically make a the smaller and b the larger, but it doesn't matter. 2 times 9 times 12 times the cosine of c. Alright, so now we're going to start doing the math. Now, this one you can't just type directly in your calculator. We're going to simplify everything and then solve it algebraically. So 5 squared is 25 equals 81 plus 144 minus 2 times 9 is 18 times 12. 9 times 12 gives me 216 cosine of c. Okay, so I can combine these two here. I cannot combine them with the minus 216 because it's attached to a variable. Okay, so that gets me to 225 equals, and then you just do 81 plus 144, which is 81 plus 144, which is 225, minus 216, the cosine of c. And because this is attached to a variable, I'm going to move the 225 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 225 from both sides. So this is going to cancel, and it's going to give me a negative 200. Negative 200 equals negative 216 cosine c. So now I'm going to divide negative 200 by negative 216, and that gives me 0.9259. Now, that's going to start making it tricky. So what I would suggest is showing all your moves and then typing it in your calculator. So let me move some of these expressions out of the way. Make some room. Let me change the color of my fonts. Okay, so I'm going to negative 200 divided by negative 216. So that cancels this. And I'm still left the cosine of c. So the inverse of cosine is cosine negative 1. And if you ever forget, the inverse is above the key. You just have to hit the second, which is the shift key on your calculator. So this is going to be cosine negative 1. And now I'll type the division in so that I'm not doing so much rounding. So second cosine, negative 200 divided by negative 216 gives me 22.2 degrees. Since we're dealing with degrees, we typically round to the nearest whole number, so we're just going to go with 22 degrees as our answer. Okay, go ahead and try this next one on your own. This is similar to example number 1. You're going to want to go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll go over the answer. Okay, I went ahead, and the missing side is across from the angle, so this is going to be little c, which makes this capital C right here, this 37. So I went ahead and plugged it into the formula. C squared equals 13 squared plus 22 squared. Again, you could have reversed these two numbers. Minus 2 times 13 times 22, the cosine of 37. I typed this whole piece into my calculator, and I got 196.2. I rounded. It was 0.18, so I rounded. If you didn't round, then your answer might be slightly different. We're going to square root both sides. So I'm going to do the square root of 196.2, which gives me 14.00, so we're going to go with 14. If you didn't round, you still would have been close to 14. Okay. Good. All right. Moving on. Here is a problem for you to try on your own, like example number 2. I am given 3 sides. By the way, whenever you're giving side, 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 it is always law of cosines. Can't do law of sines. Okay, so try this one on your own. Take a moment, pause the video. Sorry, before you pause, you need to know which one we're looking for. And this time, let's just go ahead and keep it C. We're going to look for C, angle C, which means this is going to be lowercase c. Okay, since lowercase c was 24, I have 24 squared equals 18 squared plus 26 squared. Again, these first two numbers could be reversed. Minus 2 times 18 times 26 times the cosine of c. This is one where you can't go directly to your calculator. we have to first simplify. So 24 squared is 576. 18 squared is 324. 26 squared is 676. And 2 times 18 times 26 is minus 936 cosine C. I took these two terms here and combined them to get 1,000. So 1,000 minus 936 cosine C equals the 576. I then subtracted 1,000 from both sides, which cancels this, leaving me with negative 424 equals negative 936 cosine C. So I'm going to do all the math before I type it in my calculator. I'm going to divide, so I'm going to get negative 424 divided by negative 936 would equal cosine C. Okay, I want to get rid of the cosine, so I'm going to do the inverse, which is cosine negative 1. And now I can type this in my calculator. So I would do the inverse of cosine, negative 424 divided by negative 936, and I get 63.06. Because we're doing angles, I want us to go to the nearest whole, so C, angle C is going to equal 63 degrees. Okay, go ahead and complete some more practice problems on your own.